Hello fellas, what's up? Thank you so much for those who are watching my channel. It's another day. We have another episode here, and I have not been dropping video for the last 2 days or 4 days because I was a bit unwell. But today I think I'm in a better position to drop another video. Thank you for those people who are watching those videos that are croaking so much. Today's video is a totally different story. It's all about a blogger from America, Showspeed, and that guy is a fantastic guy, and what he has shown the world is you are sky is the limit. Fly as far as you can, and definitely you will reach the maximum speed, and you will become a person who is going to grow very wealthy. This message is to give us hope. Africa has shown, its hospitality, its ability to recognize American bloggers, its ability to interact, its ability to hospital, mentality, and ability to accommodate people. And they have poured love to him. And Aisha Speed is doing something historical. And what Aisha Speed has done is to show Africa in big context, whereby it's not as it is has been portrayed by the Western media, and the theatrics that has been there is Africa is poor, we live in mud houses, we scavenge, sick and dying. That has been a narrative for decades of years, but Aisha Speedy, with his influence and amount of people following him on live stream, he catapulted African image to another level whereby people now will start viewing Africa as an opportunity. Some of the people who are commenting on his videos, they were saying they have never seen a prosperous and developed Africa continent as it was shown by Aisha Speed. People's intellect and people's competency, the way it orchestrated, really showed that Africa is still one of the best places to be on earth. Remember, Africa holds 60% of the arable land in the world, and this one is not something to take lightly. Massive infrastructure development showcased, and Americans, particularly Black Americans, they have been crying, shedding tears online. They couldn't believe Africa is that much developed. So you can imagine the extensive damage that has been done by the media, companies for the last decades, since invention of the media houses, and how they kept the majority of the well educated American population out of African side. Why? Because they never want them to discover the opportunities that exist in Africa. Right now, the globalists are trying to create world order to control Africa and try to impose African lifestyle and governance, which I think is not going to go well. And people are running away from those corporations, those systems that have been there for years, trying to destroy people's livelihood and trying to destroy people's culture and customization. So I should speed kudos to you. And many people are wondering when you're going to come back, particularly to Kenya and South Africa, because that is where actually you got, so much views. And what I would say is welcome back. And we are happy to have you back. And people will see you as a good example, as someone who is of key interest, because what you have shown is you are able to take us to the next level. Unlike other people who are not, interested to know what actually you stood for. Some people who really undertook the notes, they know exactly you did something good for them and will forever remember you. Despite the hiccups you encountered in North Africa, because North Africa is Arabic, it's not more or less like other southern Sahara. In North Africa, you encountered some racial slurs, some intimidation, some, demeaning experiences. It's not because we are not in Africa. That is North Africa, Northern Africa. That is populated by the Arabics and people from Middle East. They pretend not to be Arabs, to be Africans. They are Arabs in category as they claim. So you can imagine the questions they were asking and how they, underestimated you. They didn't know even whom you are. Similar experience you experience in Europe. Same thing happened to some part of Morocco, those countries, Tunisia, those countries, Libya, Egypt, those countries, they have this thing mentality of believing they don't belong to Africa. But when you go to down south, you really got love. People loved you. People wanted to see you. People wanted to interact with you. They wanted to have a photo with you, touching you. You know, thank you so much for showing the Africa, showing her, especially our indigenous way of living. Even if we still have this modernization at our expense imposed on us, you really want to showcase Africa heritage, the image of Africa, and we will never forget about you. Thank you so much, Showspeed, and I wish you all the best. Despite the hiccups you encountered in North Africa, Africa generally, we are welcoming. We like showing ourselves to the world and who we are and what we stand for. So I'm very grateful that this opportunity is here, and I'm very, concerned about what next. Where else will you go? The recent video that you did in Nigeria, that was good video because you were, having a challenge with the strongest man in Africa, trying to bend an iron. I think it's an iron beam or iron rod with bare hand, and he really stretched you, and you made some remarks there towards him like you had some intimacy, interest, but that's not, it's a mistaken identity. That's not what your intention was. You just had a casual talk with him, and that is something good. People should recommend that and really appreciate it. I have a cat here that is sleeping next to me. So to be in that position, actually it means that you stood for us, and you really helped us to reach that level, and we are very much grateful because you showed Africa in another way that people were not expecting it to be. And thank you so much for your concern. Thank you so much for everything that you put across. Now we know what Africa is all about. We know business opportunities which are there, infrastructure, internet, and people, if they think that we don't know Showspeed, we know him. I came to know him through my son because he's a Gen Z, and I'm generation, I'm millennial. So the difference is a age generation or age gap, but actually we deliver the point home, and I'm happy to come across such a kind of a person who is willing to go to the extra mile and lead us and show young people positive way of getting accepted in the society and living morally, in line with what you are entitled to, and studying for what it's like. Otherwise, I'm very happy to push this message across, and I'm not underrating. I really appreciate what Showspeed did and what he stood for, and nothing much I can add to that. Despite that, I'm not into much of his live streaming, style stereotypes, but thank you so much for what you stood for. Thank you.